okay to feel weak because your lifestyle is not used to of not skipping meals.
So what fever needs is your support to eliminate everything, all the toxins out of your body. So that support is given by fasting.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show, Voice of Nature. Today we have got two guests with us, Dr. Milan from Sata, Punjab, okay, and Ashwatika Ashok from Tamil Nadu. As we all know, Dr. Milan. Dr. Milandeep is a BNYS graduate and one of a topper from my college, SDM CNYS, practice naturopath and pranic healing in state of Punjab. And Ashwatika Ashok, I'm first time meeting her, pursuing BNYS, and she has been learning yoga right from 13 years of her age, aspiring motivational speaker in the community of naturopathy and yoga. Also, she runs a campaign on menstrual awareness. So, I welcome you guys.
Thank you for having us.
So, today's topic is fasting, importance of fasting. We are going to talk about fasting with clinical research papers and what you experienced in past like 13 years, 14 years.
First of all, let's know what actually fasting is.
Yes.
Fasting is the definition of fasting remains consistent throughout. So basically it means that you are abstaining yourself from specific kind of food for a specific duration with your own desire. So it's very important to know that you are doing it willingly. If it is not willful, it goes to starvation. Otherwise, it's fasting. And by specific duration, I mean it can be 1 day, or it can be 3 days, or 10 days, and up to 21 days. Okay. And it is also important to know that you're allowed to eat only specific kind of food. You're not avoided of eating any kind of food. You're given specific food. Or you can consider those food as low glycemic food, such as juice fasting or fruits or raw diet fasting, like water fasting, and different types of fasting. Okay, so that is the main thing which we should know about. Okay, and talking about my experience, my first experience of fasting was in my UG, because as all the BNS people would be knowing, in our 4th year we are supposed to do a 10 days fast. We need to know how fasting works for patient, how does it actually work. So that was my first experience where I went for 10 days juice fasting. And it was quite an experience because I actually felt my body light, it was peaceful, I could observe the balance in my body, and yeah, weight loss was one part of it, but other things than that was actually the appetite, which people think that during fasting, appetite will be the main issue. Like they won't be able to sustain their appetite. But trust me, after maximum of 2nd day, your appetite will itself go away. You won't feel the hunger after that. It is just a struggle of 2 days. And after that, your body is adapted. Okay, fine. Now I can go. I can proceed with the same mechanism. And because of that 10-day experience, I went on for practicing intermittent fasting on daily basis, which I think we'll be talking about later in this webinar.
For sure. So, Ashwatika, coming to you, how was your experience? Have you done ever fasting? Have you tried ever fasting?
Yes. So as Dr. Milan said, it is very right that you should fast with all your will. If you're not having that will, you really cannot fast. And to me, my first experience was during my first year when I had fever. At that time, I was a person who willfully joined this course, so I had a strong belief in the system. Yet for me, it was very difficult to fast for 3 days continuously. It was lemon honey juice fasting. I had only that lemon honey juice for the 3 days. And until then, like whenever I had fever, the thing what my mother does is she gives me a crocin or paracetamol and my fever goes away and I feel okay. But when I was on fasting, the first day my fever was not off. And then the 2nd day, it was like, okay. And 3rd day, I was totally relaxed. And the better thing about this is my body did not feel heavy after the period of fever. It is like it was like a magic, and it was at that moment I believed fasting can do wonders. Until then, like family members, all they used to do religious fasting. After that, I had been on long fasts also, like 10 days fasting, 21 days fasting and all, to try and work out, like not for the 21 days like going without food and all. Like I used to have certain kind of food and abstain from all those things. But it was all recent tries, like during this lockdown, being at home, all this tries. But what I feel is fasting is kind of an art. You should understand it and then you should start doing it. Like you paint something, it takes time for you to understand how you should work on that painting. The same way, fasting needs some work, both from in and out, so that you go or you do it in a right way, and that helps you a lot.
Great. It's great knowing your perspective is both of your perspectives. So it's just now we talked about experience of fasting. Let me tell you my experience of fasting. I have tried very less fasting, but I have started fasting like every Sunday for past few weeks. So I can share my experiences. Like, so my experience of fasting is like from past few weeks I have been started fasting every Sunday. So I feel little weak, but I feel after some eating, like after breaking the fast, I really feel good, but I feel little weak in doing fasting. So what can you suggest for our viewers that how they can overcome this feeling of weakness while doing fasting?
So for that, I would say, from a little bit of clinical experience, whatever I have, it's okay to feel weak because your lifestyle is not used to of not skipping meals. Nowadays, all of us are adapted to 3 meals a day plus 2 to 3 times a snack, and binge eating is separate. So it's okay. So whenever you start, or maybe for beginners or who have already done it, they might feel symptoms like headache or diarrhea, giddiness, dizziness, fainting, anything of that sort. It's okay, and it happens within initial days. You won't feel such experience. You can ask anyone who has done fasting for long run also. They won't feel on later days or maybe after third or fourth day. So that is to be noted. It is just the initial phase because your body doesn't know what has suddenly happened. So first thing is, if you're not an experienced faster, practice for 1 day fasting. Try starting from 1 day, then go on for 2 3 days, then gradually go on for, increasing your time. Okay, that is the first thing. Second thing will be, if you're still feeling the same issues, same giddiness, prefer having hot water. Not hot water, lukewarm water every time. Around in the entire fast, whatever juices you're having, or around 6 to 8 glasses is the minimum amount. Apart from that, whenever you feel hungry or whenever you feel any kind of unavoidable symptoms, try to have lukewarm water. Second thing is, everyone who is practicing fasting should prefer to have enema. They should undergo enema before starting fasting, or if it is for longer and on alternative days. Enema should be a vital part of fasting. That should be noted, because what happens is, if you don't practice enema, the decomposed material in your gut or the gas which is formed, that will hamper your healing process. It won't hamper, it will disturb your healing process. You will feel uncomfortable. So it's very important to do enema in that. And third thing is, listen to your body. If you feel that symptoms are not subsiding by anything, whatever you're doing, drinking water, undergoing enema, exposing yourself to air or sunlight, it's okay. Stop the fast, have something light, and later on in the week or whenever it is comfortable for you, again go for the fast. Then again your body will slowly start adapting to it. Make that your lifestyle. That would help.
For sure. Yeah, sure. Viewers can also do that. So, Ashwatika, like you mentioned, like you fasted during fever. So, you can tell something about like why you should do fasting in fever.
Okay. So what most of us or most of the people don't understand is that fever is is your body's healing mechanism. Like your body is fighting against something, and it is shown in the form of fever. We all think fever to be a disease. Actually, fever is preventing you from getting more illness or sickness or anything. So what fever needs is your support to eliminate everything, all the toxins out of your body. So that support is given by fasting. So this is like you give rest to your body, and your body can concentrate on the elimination process, like whatever is dumped down inside, it is all getting eliminated. And in that way, the support is given, and automatically your fever is not. So I mean, by fasting, your fever is not getting suppressed, but it is being cured. You would not get this fever symptom again unless and until you are again being dumped in with some other toxins. So that is why we fast during fever. But it is very essential to take the right guidance while fasting during fever. You can't just simply fast also.
For sure.
Actually, to add on to that, whatever she told is absolutely correct. What if all of us who is viewing this or who are undergoing, are practicing naturopathy, they should know that fever is body symptom to tell you, okay, bas karo, relax, calm down. Your heavy schedule is too much for me to manage with it, to cope up with it. So relax, just calm down. In fever, you won't feel hungry. That is the main symptom. You won't feel like doing anything. That is something which tells you that body doesn't want to do anything. Body wants to relax. So let it relax. That's the only thing they should understand.
Yeah.
I have an add-on.
Yeah.
To be like, she says relax, right? That's very right. I missed this point. Relax doesn't mean giving rest to your body. It means giving rest to your mind, giving rest to your senses and everything. Many people think like you can fast and go and have heavy work, may it be mentally or may it be physically. That is also wrong. You have to give your mind, your emotions, everything a particular period of rest. That is why we say get guidance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are like water fasting, juice fasting, you eat something raw in the fasting. So like if you have to suggest a youth who is healthy, but he wants to fast or she wants to fast. So what kind of fasting will you suggest for him or her?
To suggest someone of fasting is like, you can't suggest everyone one kind of fasting. There are different methods of fasting, and each body is different, each individual is unique, each of their needs are different. So it is according to that particular person or that particular person's body type, his mental status or his situations right there, and his availability, we suggest fasting. So it all depends on that. But to generally say to anybody who is beginning to fast, who's having a general well-being, do not go in for longer fasts. Start with shorter fasts. Understand, know what are all the issues you would face during a fast. You have to be prepared for everything. So always start with a shorter one and then progress it slowly. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, Dr. Milan.
To that, I would say, first thing is you try whatever she's told is absolutely right. Start with 1 day fast. See how your body is reacting. It is very important that person should listen and feel their body during that time. Understand your symptoms. It's okay. Some people can go on for 21 days easily. Some people can't even go for 1 day easily. It's okay. Make it a gradual process. Don't make it a checklist that you have to do it and finish it off. Understand your body, feel your body. Okay, that is the first thing. And for beginners to start, it is first of all very important to know how to start, how to end. So they should take consultation from a naturopath nearby or anyone who is pursuing naturopathy. That is the first thing. They shouldn't start by themselves suddenly seeing some videos and all. They will get to know what to do during the fast. They don't know what to do before and after and how to manage the fast. So that is one thing. And to practice fasting or who are enthusiastic about this system, they should go for 1 day juice fasting and preferably citrus fruit fasting, because the energy booster what they will feel during consumption of citric food or fruits will be more than any other kind of juice fasting. The results will be quite enhanced and you will feel better, which will motivate you to continue this practice on a longer run. Okay, that is the first thing. So juice fasting is the best one. Apart from that, intermittent fasting is the best option for everyone. because intermittent fasting is a concept which can be adapted on a daily life. Okay, so you don't have to specify a day specifically for fasting. Intermittent fasting makes it your lifestyle. It makes it it's habitual for your body to go for fasting on daily basis. So it's a continuous and a gradual process which the body will easily adapt after maximum 3 to 4 days. So these are the two suggestions from my side: juice fasting once in a week, and intermittent fasting if they want to go on a regular basis to change life.
So I have read a lot of articles about benefits of intermittent fasting, and also there are some problems in intermittent fasting. Like when we start intermittent fasting, I have experienced it myself, and my mom also practices intermittent fasting. So what she experiences, if she has some heavy work in a day, if she has some heavy work in a day, she feels slight headache and little dizziness, like at the like peak of, like when the sun is at the peak, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, she feels little dizziness. What you can tell about that?
For that, it first of all, intermittent fasting means you are doing fasting on break. Okay, you eat, you stop, you eat. Intermittent means that's what the word meaning of intermittent is. Second thing is there are different types of intermittent fasting. Whether you're doing 24 hours fasting, which means for 24 hours you won't eat anything, and after that you will resume your eating process. Then is time-based fasting, intermittent fasting. You fast for 12 hours, 16 hours, 14 hours, 16, 18, like that you go on. Okay. Then is alternative intermittent fasting. Like on one day you eat your normal diet. On second day you don't eat anything. Then on the third day you eat. So alternatively you are consuming and stopping your consumption of food. Okay. So there are different types of fasting. And for intermittent fasting, what a person should do is, if they are feeling giddiness or weakness, they can reduce the time. They can increase the window of consumption of food and reduce the fasting time initially. Actually, what is clinically and evidently told, the 12 hours fast is must, because that is the time when actual results can be seen. But initially, you can start with a lesser time and then gradually increase. Then it won't be an issue. That should be seen. That should be taken care of.
Yeah, Ashwatika,
Uh,
what's your take?
so yes, when you go with intermittent fasting, one thing which also matters, adding on to Dr. Millen, one thing which also matters is that what you eat in the breaks. Some people, to each and every individual, again, that differs. For what purpose you're fasting is all taken into consideration, and we frame that diet properly. So when you frame that, you should take into consideration what are all their takes on fasting, like how they feel, or how that food feels for their body, like how their body reacts to that food. All these things are taken into consideration, and then their diet is planned. When it is planned this way, most of these symptoms would be like put down. You'll not have such symptoms and all. You can fast in a peaceful manner. So this is why we again and again stress, get the experts guidance, go with somebody's guidance. And today, as we were discussing earlier, there are people who would come to us and they would have undertaken fasting once or twice with us, and now they would become experts and they would start campaigning and all, like I did this, I did that, you can take my guidance. That is all very wrong. We should be very much aware of these people, and then we should go in for the fasting.
Absolutely.
Yes,
That is
we,
actually the main thing.
yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
naturopathy can be followed so easily, but it needs guidance. That
Yeah.
should be noted.
Yes, for sure. And I would like to add a point on this. It's like, as you said, as you both said, like intermittent fasting should be done with the help of like naturopathy diet, no, naturopaths, with the help of naturopaths, consulting a naturopath. Yeah, it's true. But what can you give one advice for our viewers, that what can they do after watching this episode? Which fasting they can follow, like without any consultation?
Without any consultation, if you ask me, fasting once in a week is the go-to option, because you would have a choice to know yourself with that. And to fast once in a week, keep in mind, if you're going to fast on Sunday, Saturday night, don't go in for heavy meals and then start your fasting immediately by Sunday morning. You should taper down your food, like maybe a bland diet or maybe fruits or something very light, and then go in for fasting. Also, break it properly. Do not break it like with spicy food, and then fasting will bring you all the harm when you break it wrong. And then you'll be like, fasting didn't do anything good to me. Why would I fast? And you miss the beautiful benefits of fasting again. So when you start and when you end the fast, make sure you have some light meals. Hydrate yourself during the fast properly. If you're going to fast without the advice or guidance, and then this would be my advice: go in for 1 day fasting, like fasting once in a week. Start and end with a bland meal or light meal or fruits. And then while fasting, be hydrated. If you're not hydrated, you're then going to have headache, you're then going to have dizziness, which would all create a fear in you. So that, do this all properly, and you would start having beautiful experiences, which then will automatically take you to some expert.
So yeah, this is
So
the thing. Yeah, yeah.
add on to that,
Yeah.
I totally agree with the 1 day fast, which is perfectly adaptable for anyone and everyone. Okay. So that is actually the very good option to follow. Second thing we should know is fasting is a normal physiology. So you would have known from ages around 8 to 10 hours are used up for sleeping. So that is the time when we are actually fasting. And that is the time when whatever detoxification we do throughout the day or exercise we do, the results of which, the outcome of which is actually seen during the sleep, the fasting period, when the body actually gets a chance to uh, execute whatever incomes or whatever exercise and detoxification we have done. Okay. So it is important to know that it is normal to fast. Our body knows how to fast. It's not like it is something new to the body. It knows about it. So that's how the intermittent fasting also works like that. 12 hours, approximately there is a gap of 12 hours between dinner and breakfast among all individuals, mostly, apart from the youngsters who binge eat and all. But it is a common, you can commonly seen among people that between dinner to breakfast, there is minimum 10 to 12 hours gap. You don't feel hungry at night. You don't get up at night suddenly and tell that my tummy is hungry, I need to feed myself. You don't feel like that. It is normal. So that is one thing you should understand. It is normal to fast. So adding up to her point, once somebody is okay or adapted to 1 day juice fasting, or they have exceeded to 2-3 days of juice fasting, what they can do is, if they are so much keen to improve their lifestyle, they should go for intermittent fasting. I actually prefer my patients to go for intermittent fasting because you can practice it on daily basis. You don't have to choose days for it. Okay. Second thing, intermittent fasting doesn't restrict you of anything. In juice fasting, you're supposed to have only one kind of food, one specific kind of food group, which sometimes people might feel they might have craving. So some way it has a drawback. But in intermittent fasting, you're allowed to eat anything. But that doesn't mean that you can eat all junk food during that window of feasting. So if you eat proper meals, good meals, you can have junk food. You can't stop eating all nonsense crap in one single day. You can have little bit, but you should know to what extent you should eat. So when you're eating such kind of food during your feasting period, you can make up a mind ki, okay, I was allowed to eat for this 8-hour window. So I will fast for my body for next 16 hours. It can be done easily. So once you start doing it and you're not restricting yourself of some particular kind of food or whatever you like, whatever you desire, so your body is happy to do it. So once you're happy to do anything in your lifestyle, to bring amendments in your lifestyle, you can do it more effectively and more efficiently. So I prefer intermittent fasting, juice fasting, and fasting should be done by anyone and everyone. That is the main thing. Experience it once, and you will feel it, and you can to make it by yourself whether you want to make it your daily practice or not. You don't have to listen to us. You don't have to blindly follow to us. It's easy. You want guidance, you can contact Sandesh, you can contact Ashwatika, you can contact me, anyone or any naturopath you know. But practice it. Try it.
Yes. There are a lot of diseases where we don't have to fast. Fasting can ruin, can worsen the effect, can worsen the disease. So, what are the diseases where we should not fast? What's your take on that?
First of all, anybody can fast. Okay, there is no issue in fasting in any particular condition. There have been so many testimonies which have been previously given where many difficult conditions have been cured by fasting. But to be noted is it was under the guidance. You might be undergoing many severe conditions. There are so much lifestyle issues, so many common conditions we see these days. Take guidance. Anybody can do it. But the thing is, there are some people who should be cautious about it. You can't tell that people can't. There is some specific group who can't do it. It is that they should be cautious about it. And the people who are included in that group are like who are in initial state of pregnancy or children during their adolescence or early childhood, or people who are very old and weak, or people who are on too many medications. That is one issue. That creates hindrance during fasting. People who are on too many medications might feel quite difficult to fast. And I think other people will be who have I won't specify the disease because there is fasting for any kind of disease. So I would say people who have multi-organ issues might find it difficult to start with. But if they are under somebody's guidance, there is no issue. They can practice and they can gradually get into this method.
To say, like, whatever she said is totally right. I'm just adding on to that. Fasting is like, for a disease, when you tell, it is not that you cannot fast during this disease, but it is that you got to prepare that particular patient to fast in that condition. That is what we do. That is our job, actually. So whenever you are taking fast for a disease, like, make sure you go to the right person. That is very much important. And at this point, as naturopaths, we should also make sure that we knew what are all the effects during, like, what all we face during fasting. Only if we had experienced fasting, we could suggest them and we could feel them and we could guide them properly. So it is just that. For example, if I could say, generally there is a misconception that you cannot fast if you have diabetes or if you are a sugar patient, whatever. So if it is that way, there are people who had been cured of diabetes with fasting. So it is just that the method of fasting. We have proof in books, even we would have read Herbert M. Shelton. He says so many examples, and it is also an example. So it is just the method of fasting, how you prepare the patient for fasting, and then how you make them comfortable during the fast, that matters.
Yes.
It's said that it's hard to break a fast. Like, I have seen a lot of people after breaking fast, they just go eat pizza, eat some junk food. So what's your take on how we should break the fast and what they should eat after breaking a fast?
A person who's going to break the fast with junk food, I would say, is not a person who was mentally prepared for fasting. Okay, they would have been waiting. Oh my God, when can I go and break the fast? And yes, you break it with all the chatpata foods and all. So the thing is, you should be mentally prepared. You're going to fast for yourself, for your goodness, for your body to get better. And it is not that you're fasting for namesake, like, I should fast. No, it is not that. You have to be very much prepared. You should talk to yourself, like, you are fasting and for what you're fasting. Why is this fast needed to you? You should talk to yourself. You should make yourself prepared. And when you're prepared with all that, at the end of the fast, you wouldn't be craving too much. So this is one. And the next thing is, on breaking the fast, it is at most of the times it would be very good if you could break it with a fruit. Breaking it with a locally available fruit is very good. And you can just slowly go on to vegetables, raw salads, or sprouts, and then you can go on to bland diets, bland meals and all, and it should be like that. If not, you're gonna break it suddenly with some spicy or some sour food and all. What happens is your after fasting, your entire digestive system is like a baby. You can't feed your baby with so much of spice and sour, and your baby would feel so bad about that. So take care of your baby. Like when you fast and you're going to break the fast, your body is a newborn baby. Give that baby what it can eat. That's it.
Yes, for sure. Milan Didi, what's your take?
Yeah. So what she told is perfectly right. Mentally being prepared for fasting is first and foremost thing. And once you're mentally prepared, you won't feel like having anything junk. Your appetite will change you towards something bland or light. That will happen by its own. You won't suddenly feel like having you can eat this pizza then later on, but it is not supposed to be eaten after you have just cleansed your body. You don't just clean your body and then dirty it again. What is the point? Why do you waste your time for fasting for that? So there are different protocols how to break the fast. It depends on what type of fasting you're doing. So if you're on juice fasting, for say, you start with light kind of juices, then you go for thicker juices, then you go for raw diet, then you go for light cooked meals. That's how it is done. But, so for that, I would say you should take consultations from your naturopath, and then whatever they're advising, and that way you should break your fast. Okay. But otherwise, for vaguely to tell people, first and foremost would be have something light. Supposing you're on juice diet, go for fruits. Go for at least one day off, and all the 3 meals should be from fruits. Then later on, go for raw diet. Then go for cooked. That can be one way of breaking the fast. Okay, that is first thing. Second thing is, there are some signs which you can notice which will tell you how to break a fast. That is appetite. Appetite, see, throughout how many X days you went on for fast, you will not feel hungry. You won't have cravings. Okay, you might feel hungry, but you won't have cravings. So see, when your hunger or hunger pangs have started coming back, understand that. So that is the time you should break the fast. Don't just break it when you are thinking about, I am hungry. Don't judge yourself from what you're thinking. See what your tummy or your stomach is telling you. Okay, know about that. Second thing is, when you're not able to cope up anymore, you're having continuous symptoms of giddiness, tiredness, even after having more amount of juice or whatever kind of fasting you're doing, more amount of water, but they're not subsiding. Stop it there and then with something light. If you put something heavy, spicy, acidic, it will give you a reaction which is more worse than what you were expecting. I mean, you were expecting something good out of fasting because of your XY disease condition. You have a worse scenario of your disease if you do such thing. So that is the main thing which person should realize is, don't have anything heavy, acidic, unwanted away from the nature. That is the main thing which we can say.
Yes, for sure. So we discussed how we should start fasting, importance of fasting, what you should do in fasting, how you should break the fasting. Thank you so much, guys, for joining today. I hope you enjoyed this session. While going,
thank you for giving us a chance.
Yeah, while going, there's less than
Yes,
1 minute.
it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting.